Up next, what's next after March for Our Lives rallies? We'll have a report on what the demonstrations may have accomplished. Plus, historical significance. Some land in Manatee County is drawing national attention among historians. We'll tell you why some call this land the most important land in all of Manatee County. And sleeping in and going to the beach. Spring break is underway for students on the Suncoast. Your Suncoast News starts right now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins. Scott is off this noon. Now that tens of thousands have marched locally and nationwide for gun control changes, the question is now, what may change? ABC's Maggie Rulli has the story.
For lawmakers, the pressure is on, and their seats in Congress could be on the chopping block.
Name them, shame them, vote them out.
Yes, indeed. Top 10 recipients of NRA money.
After hundreds of thousands of marchers called for stricter gun control over the weekend, sending a clear message to Congress. Beware, the voters are coming.
The fact that this movement has so many people realizing that it's important to get out to the polls is what I think is one of the best things we've accomplished.
On Fox News, organizers explain they're working to register as many young people as possible with an eye on midterm elections. Protesters have vowed to not stop until Congress acts, and today some students are still marching.
We're pretty confident that this is going to have a very powerful impact.
This group in Wisconsin is marching 50 miles from the state capitol straight to Speaker of the House Paul Ryan's hometown.
Specifically calling out him is what we need to do to get common sense gun reform rolling in this country.
And in New Jersey, local lawmakers are voting today on a bill that would increase gun restrictions. If passed, Governor Phil Murphy has pledged to sign it into law. But other politicians see little value in the weekend's protests.
How about kids, instead of looking to someone else to solve their problem, do something about maybe taking CPR classes?
Former Senator Rick Santorum on CNN goes on to tell students that instead of asking lawmakers to make a change, they should deal with the problem themselves. Organizers have already planned their next protest, another nationwide school walkout on April 20th. That's the anniversary of the shooting at Columbine. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Now, schools across Florida are getting instructions on what changes need to be made and when to upgrade security procedures. Governor Scott sent a letter to districts statewide yesterday. It details his expectations and it includes a timeline. He says by May 1st, the state will hire an education department director for its newly created Office of Safe Schools. By July 1st, superintendents must designate a district school safety specialist. By September 1st, each district must have a threat assessment team that will meet monthly to discuss potential threats to the teachers, students, or schools. The upgrades are part of the state's response to last month's school massacre in Broward County. For more on this story and breaking news and the forecast, check out our app. It's listed under WWSB or under My Suncoast. Governor Scott has signed a bill that would let Florida stay on daylight savings time all year long. The change would translate into later sunrises, which supporters say benefits the state tourism industry. However, the Florida Parent-Teacher Association is against the change because more kids will be going to school in the dark. The Sunshine Protection Act still needs congressional approval. A new Florida law changes the state insurance code to make clear that direct primary care agreements do not go against insurance laws. Under direct primary care agreements, doctors charge patients monthly fees in advance of providing services, with patients then able to access services at no extra cost. The law does not spell out how much can be charged or what services need to be included in those agreements. New at noon, the National Park Service is considering adding a Manatee County park as part of the Underground Railroad of the early 1800s. Manatee Mineral Springs Park is near Manatee Avenue East and 14th Street East near the river. It would be one of 600 locations considered. Historians say at least 700 slaves escaped to Mineral Springs at one point, many of whom are believed to have escaped from Georgia, Alabama, and North Florida. Some say it is the most historic piece of land in Manatee County. And today marks the start of spring break across the Suncoast. Schools in both Manatee and Sarasota counties have the week off and resume classes next Monday, April 2nd. So the beaches will be more crowded throughout the week here on the Suncoast. And the timing couldn't be better. Mother Nature is taking care of these students, John.
Pretty much. Oh, we started off the day, it looked a little dicey because of the fog, you know, and the low-hanging clouds and such, and I know they're itching to get out there to the beaches, most like.
Yeah.
Well, that's all changed. Of course, everything looks pretty good now in terms of getting out there and enjoying some sunshine. Take a look at the tower cam, and you can see all that fog that was around this morning. It was difficult to see in some locations, but that cleared off pretty quickly, and as forecast, we got the sun shining brightly, and it looks like it's going to be a beautiful afternoon. Daytime highs today will top out mild as well, maybe even slightly above average. The only fly in the ointment, a frontal boundary sinking southward. Now, I don't think we'll see a lot in the way of any kind of cloud cover or rain showers, certainly with this system, but you know, we will see a little bit of cloud cover with it, and maybe an isolated inland sprinkle or brief shower possible. But rain showers, no, that's not going to happen. I think the beaches will all stay dry today. 78 degrees in Sarasota currently. We're looking at Venice coming in at 75 in Bradenton Parish, Lakewood Ranch, Myakka the same. So a warm day today. We'll probably send it up to about 81 degrees for a daytime high. And then as we head into the evening, under a mix of sun and fair weather skies, we'll probably see temperatures drop into the 70s as we head into the evening. We'll have the complete forecast for you for the week ahead coming up in just a minute.
Thank you, John. Richard Stearns here now. And after a bad ending on Friday, a good start on Monday.
Isn't that nice? It
Yes.
was kind of a long weekend for investors and those of us maybe in the investment business, but things are better today. As someone who's been an investment advisor for 42 years, I have to tell you, Wall Street has a tendency to overdo things in both directions. And as Ray just said, not only were we down Friday, we had the worst week on Wall Street in 26 months, all the way back to January of 2016. So what happened this morning? Well, straight up, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 511 points at the high of the day. Not there right now, but a very, very positive gain. There you see the Dow up 286 points, 1.2% at 23,818.90 on heavy volume of 499 million shares. The NASDAQ just the same, up 0.8%, up exactly 55 points at 7,049.85. That on volume of 842 million shares. The S&P enjoying the ride as well, up 0.8%, not quite 21 points at 2,609.01. Well, apropos of some of the news we've just seen about guns and rifles and things like that, big news from Remington. Remington, one of the largest and most well-known gun manufacturers in this country, announced Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company, which has been making guns and rifles and various things like that for 202 years, said that its 2017 sales came in 30% lower than 2016, and obviously 2018 has not done much better. Remington is best known for rifles under the Remington name, as well as Marlin and Bushmaster. Its signature product is a Model 700 bolt action rifle. And certainly there are times when the world of business news and the world of real news come together. Guns are everywhere. Guns are on everybody's mind, and it looks like Remington is telling you that sales are really, really down.
It sounds counterintuitive. Guns are in the news, but gun sales are down.
Absolutely right.
All right, see you back here at 5, Richard?
I'll be here.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thanks.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, where's the best place to sit on a plane if you don't want to get sick? We'll have some tips for you. And history floats onto the Suncoast. We'll tell you where. You can see replicas of some famous ships this week after this.
The ABC7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Well, I knew that.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Minnie, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5. Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Temperatures are climbing, you know, in response to a little bit of sunshine and nice wind coming out of the east. We're starting to see temperatures climb up near the 80-degree mark today. In fact, even crack the 80-degree mark. We'll be in the low 80s for a daytime high. That'll be nice. 75 degrees in Venice, 73 Longboat Key, 75 Bradenton Parish, Myakka, Northport coming in at 76. We've got 75 in Wauchula and 76 in Arcadia. What we will see today, I think, are temperatures that will run above average, not only today, but I think probably for at least the next couple of days for sure. We have a 4 degree above the temperature that it was 24 hours ago in Sarasota at this hour, and 2 degrees above where it was 24 hours ago at this hour in Myakka, 2 degrees in Punta Gorda, 3 degrees in Inglewood, 1 degree in Northport. So most everywhere is running a little bit warmer than it was just 24 hours ago. The fog is lifted pretty much everywhere now. We're looking at a 65-degree temperature at 9 a.m. and then 80, probably about 81 for a daytime high. 79 in Sarasota, as I mentioned, 81 in Bradenton, 80 degrees in Parrish by about 1 o'clock. Maybe a few scattered showers in inland area. I think this particular model overdoes the number of showers that we get. A passing cloud or two certainly is possible. There's no reason not to expect that. We got a lot of cloud cover just to the north, all associated with the frontal boundary. And that frontal boundary is coming through here. It's going to shift our winds around to a more directly easterly direction. And what that will do will be to bring in a little bit of drier air at the surface. So I don't think these clouds are going to produce much in the way of any kind of rainfall, but it could lead to kind of cloudy periods over the next 24 hours. I think we might see some clouds this evening. And then overnight tonight. Then tomorrow, I think it all clears out. And by the time we get into, say, lunchtime tomorrow, I think we'll be enjoying some fairly quiet conditions weather-wise, with sky cover turning to sunny conditions. So there are your rain showers associated with this frontal boundary sinking southward. We're developing a bit of an easterly wind over on the other coast. And the other coast is not going to be so nice today. It's going to have a lot of cloud cover around. It's going to have some scattered showers, drizzle, a little bit of rainfall, that sort of thing. All of that sinking southward, but as the front weakens, so too will the aerial coverage of those showers. So by the time it gets on our doorstep, right now it's in North Florida, I don't think we're going to see much in the way of any kind of significant rains. The kind of stuff that we're seeing now just entering into Highlands County, these isolated showers popping up on radar, yeah, we may see those in Hardee and DeSoto. That's certainly a possibility. But I think they'll all kind of dampen out as they get closer to the coast and this front kind of falls apart. Got some big storms back to the west of us, that's for sure. Western Great Lakes will see some snow showers moving in a little bit later in the day. And the northern tier seeing some snowfall accumulation there. Frontal boundary extends southward into parts of Kentucky, Tennessee. There's a rain shower chance and the threat of some severe weather as well in Indiana, Illinois, and parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. The front sinks southward and kind of falls apart as it does that. But high pressure will build in, and that'll lead to some slightly drier conditions over the next several days. Lower relative humidity. Should be nice. I don't think it'll do much to affect our temperatures, maybe a degree or two midweek, but that's about it. Otherwise, we'll wait for the weekend before we have a chance to see showers again. So, forecast shaping up like this. Northeast wind kind of surges a little bit during the evening period. Watch for that, a 15-knot wind out of the northeast or east. And we'll look for 81 as a daytime high today with a mix of sun and fair weather clouds. Then tomorrow, more sunshine, 81 degrees. Then Wednesday, another nice day, a little teeny bit cooler perhaps on Wednesday. Thursday, we're right back to 81 degrees, and we'll watch for the clouds to reappear on Friday with about a 20% chance of showers. Then as another front sinks southward, that one stalls out, giving us a Saturday chance of rain as well. But then it looks like at least 50% of the weekend will be rain-free and mostly sunny at that with warm temperatures. Back to you, Ray.
Thank you, John. In Health Smart, a new study tells us how to avoid getting sick on an airplane. Reporter Reed Binion has tips on where to sit and even what to do while you're in the air.
Stuck at 30,000 feet with just inches of personal space, airplanes can be the perfect incubators for germs and disease. According to a new study in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, the best way to avoid getting sick is to book a window seat. The study found people with a window seat were less likely to get up to use the restroom or check the overhead bin, meaning that they were less likely to come into contact with germs. Researchers say lavatories are covered in germs since there's usually only 2 of them on a flight of about 150 passengers. Researchers also analyzed passenger movements and studied air samples. They found passengers sitting within 2 seats or 1 row away from a sick person have an 80% chance of catching an illness compared to passengers sitting further away. But for most of the other passengers in the cabin, the risk of catching anything is minimal. Still, you can lower your odds even more by not touching your face and keeping your hands off of the aisle seats. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
Here's some tips for you. Now, flu season is winding down, but the latest report from the CDC says a second strain is happening now. In fact, as of last week, more than half of all confirmed cases of the flu are caused by the B strain. A CDC spokesperson says the B strain flu virus tends to be more severe for children. Experts say it's possible for those who've already had the flu to get sick again, so they recommend you can still get a flu shot since the strains are circulating. A 4-day blood drive begins today at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. SMH needs 800 pints of blood per month. You only get 50 pints, though, at the average blood drive, so they need your help. If you donate, you get a free Tervis tumbler, a free wellness check, raffle prizes, including an Amazon Echo, perhaps, if you win the raffle. SMH will be drawing blood today in the Papaya Room at the Waldemere Medical Plaza from 9 to 6, tomorrow from 9 to 5, and in the first floor auditorium on Wednesday from Thursday from 10 to 7. Be sure to bring photo ID as well. Let's go to the kitchen now. It's time for lunch, and Judy has a healthy meatless stir fry. Sounds great, Judy.
And I'm going to make it gluten-free, so you're really covered right. This is a great meatless Monday dish. You can certainly add different proteins if you want. I'm adding tofu today. Now, truth be told, I'm not really a tofu fan. I don't like certain textures like tofu and mashed potatoes, but if you crisp it up, it's going to work really well. So frying that in a pan is going to be really helpful in the process of bringing some texture, more texture to it. The key is to use a very firm tofu, and you can see I'm using a paper towel and I'm going to really squeeze it to get that extra moisture out, and then I will cut it in blocks and I will squeeze it again. So I can do that off break. But we're going to come together with some beautiful ingredients from Whole Foods. I even found enoki mushrooms, which I love. They're so delicate. This is something you can eat hot, cold, or room temperature. So if you're heading out to the beach with spring breakers, this is going to be a great sunset meal or a nice side dish to add for your weekend. Stay with me. We'll be stir frying up some ginger and goodness in just a few minutes.
Car experts and customers agree there's a lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease the all-new 2018 Subaru Impreza for just $195 a month for 42 months with zero due at signing. That's right, not one penny. Get more for your money during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
I'm Ray Collins. The state is sharing plans tomorrow night for a new roundabout at one of the busiest intersections in the area.
We'll tell you how soon the roundabout at 41 and Gulfstream Avenue could be finished. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
So we're looking at a cold front which will wash out and bring us some drier air. We'll talk about the impact on our forecast bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
Happening today, some of the nation's top sailors are in Sarasota Bay all this week. More than 100 sailors are competing in the 2018 Flying Scot Midwinter Championship. It's based at the Sarasota Sailing Squadron on City Island near Mote Marine. About 60 boats will take part in the races. The races will run through Thursday. Some much different boats will be docked later this week in Venice. History buffs will love this one. Replicas of two of Columbus's ships, the Pinta and the Nina, will arrive in Venice this Thursday at Fisherman's Wharf. This is the video from last year. They'll be here through next Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can look from the dock or pay for a guided tour. More details on our website at mysuncoast.com. All right, it's lunchtime. Back to Chef Judy now and that tasty-sounding stir-fry, Judy.
I think you're going to really like this, Ray, because, you know, you could even bring this for a tennis tournament and just take it out of the cooler and enjoy. We have a high-rimmed pan going. You can certainly use a wok pan, but no need to if you have a higher-rimmed saute pan. So we have a little peanut oil in there. That's going to hold the temperature up a little bit more. And I mentioned the tofu, firm tofu. And we have patted it dry. So what we want to do now is just cut it into cubes and starting to get that sizzle. And so we're going to just lightly brown this. And I'm going to put this temperature up a bit. And it's Monday morning. Nothing works too fast on a Monday morning, including my burners. So let's get that started and let that sit for just a few minutes. And we're going to go over and we're going to actually make somewhat of a difference between the sauce and a dressing for this. Now this particular piece that I'm going to do, this next step, you can do the day before and you can toss it in cold. Not a problem. We're going to take just a little bit of sugar, about 2 teaspoons, some rice wine vinegar. Got that heat already going. We're going to keep stirring it until the sugar starts to really dissolve. We're going to add some gluten-free. There we go. Just about 2 teaspoons of gluten-free soy sauce. And I'm going to put a little toasted sesame oil in there, and I'm going to do a little toasted sesame oil over in this pot. Next thing we need is salt, and what I'm going to use is a Szechuan salt, so it has several different ingredients, and it's going to have a bit of spice to that salt, which I really like. So let's give that a heat. Once the sugar's dissolved, which it just about is, and it gets a little strong because of that rice vinegar, so when you tip your head over, if you have sinuses, they're taken care of. Let's get that off the burner, and let's let that sit for about 20 minutes. Then it's going to be poured over the cucumbers. Now that it's off the burner, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my fresh chopped ginger. Now, you may have noticed a week or two ago I used liquid ginger. That's always the thought you can use. In stir fries, I really like to have the big pieces of ginger. So I'm going to let that steep in there, just like that. Then I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of chopped scallions. And while the tofu's cooking, give that a little shake. I've already de-seeded and de-ribbed, there might be 1 or 2 seeds left, of the jalapeno pepper. Now, a red jalapeno is going to give you a little more brightness of color, but just 1 regular one is fine. If you're really crazy for spice, go with 2. Or if you're triple crazy for spice, go with a habanero. That's like way out of my ballpark. Now this time, I'm going to take, this is a mung bean mix. It's called Crunchy Mix, and it's over where the Sprouts are at Whole Foods. I'm just soaking that in water. I already drained it once. I'm going to keep it soaking, get out any sand or anything like that. So I'm going to work on the tofu a bit and start to turn that out over as the pieces brown. When we come back, we're going to marinate the cucumbers. We're going to add some other ingredients and slowly start to bring this all together. And wait till you see what I'm using for pasta today. You will be able to have it, whether you're on a paleo diet or you're on a special diet that you can't have gluten. We've got it for you today. Come back. I'll be stir-frying some more in just a little bit.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
Studio Theater presents Blue Suede Shoes, celebrating the birth of rock and roll. From the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry, to the king himself, Elvis Presley, this musical review features such great hits as Rock Around the Clock, Mustang Sally, Johnny B. Good, and of course, Blue Suede Shoes. Critics are calling Blue Suede Shoes a burst of rock history, dynamic and high voltage. Audiences are calling it phenomenal. Blue Suede Shoes has been held over by popular demand. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting FloridaStudioTheater.org.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Thanks to all of you who participated in ABC7's Caribbean Cruise Giveaway Contest. Join us as we celebrate our grand prize winner, Joyce Fakowski of Northport. Married for 13 years in June, Joy and her husband, Don, are excited to celebrate their anniversary on a spectacular 7-night luxury Caribbean cruise for two. Congratulations, Joy and Don. Bon voyage. ABC7, we're here for you.
Coming up, stormy fallout. We'll have reaction to last night's interview of the woman who said she had an affair with President Trump. Plus, the latest to a fatal fire that killed dozens today in Siberia. Police are now involved. And spring training ends today on the Suncoast. We'll have some numbers that might surprise you on attendance this spring.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Our top story at 12:30. For some, it was must-see TV last night. In fact, 60 Minutes scored its highest ratings in years with the Stormy Daniels interview. She talked about her alleged affair with President Trump, and after the interview, President Trump tweeted about fake news. ABC's Tara Palmieri has the latest.
Adult film star Stormy Daniels broke her silence on 60 Minutes.
I was perfectly fine saying nothing at all, but I'm not okay with being made out to be a liar or people thinking that I did this for money.
Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, sharing what she says happened between her and Donald Trump in 2006.
You had sex with him?
Yes.
You were 27, he was 60. Were you physically attracted to him?
No.
Daniels alleging that in 2011 she was physically threatened to keep quiet about the alleged affair. She had just sold her story to In Touch magazine's sister publication, which ended up not publishing the account. She did not provide evidence of the alleged threat.
Leave Trump alone, forget the story.
David Schwartz, a lawyer for Trump attorney Michael Cohen, sent a cease and desist letter to Daniels' lawyer Michael Avenatti, accusing him and Daniels of implying Cohen was responsible for alleged threats made against Daniels.
You can't just break a contract without there being consequences.
The bombshell 60 Minutes interview follows a confidentiality agreement she signed for $130,000 just days before the 2016 election. But she now claims the contract is void because then-candidate Trump never signed it. President Trump's personal lawyer Michael Cohen acknowledges he paid Daniels $130,000 from a personal home equity line as part of a non-disclosure agreement, and claims Daniel broke the agreement more than 20 times, making her liable for damages in excess of $20 million.
He can tweet on every other subject known to mankind, but for some reason he can't come out and deny the affair.
Trump, through representatives, has denied allegations of an affair with Daniels or any involvement with the agreement for her silence. Daniels' attorney says he has more evidence of an affair between his client and the president, but he declined to say what it is. So far, there's been no direct reaction from the White House, except for a tweet from the president this morning about fake news. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
Meantime, more rumors of shakeups in the White House. Sources say President Trump is preparing to fire the Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin. A rift began after an Inspector General report about a trip that he took last summer to Europe that somehow cost $122,000. The White House officials have yet to comment on the report. President Trump is expelling 60 Russian intelligence officers from the U.S. This comes after the poisoning of a former Russian spy in England. The UK expelled 23 diplomats after concluding that Russia was responsible. President Trump is also closing the Russian consulate in Seattle. 14 European countries announced they'll also expel Russian diplomats on their soil. Leading members of Congress also support President Trump's decision to expel the diplomats from the U.S. The expulsion comes after a year of the Obama administration expelling 35 Russian diplomats in response to meddling in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Also in Russia, new developments about a fatal fire in a Siberian shopping mall that killed 64 people today. The fire broke out on the top floor of a 4-story building. 44 others were injured. No word yet on the cause, but police have since found serious violation of the building's maintenance. A criminal investigation is underway. Developing overnight, Saudi Arabian officials say they intercepted 7 ballistic missiles that were shot from Yemen. Saudi Royal Air Defense Forces report they destroyed all 7 missiles, but the interception resulted in fragments raining down on neighborhoods. 1 person died as a result of those fragments. There's also some scattered damage throughout the area. Back in Florida, an update now from Miami. The street is now open where a pedestrian bridge collapsed nearly 2 weeks ago. The area around Florida International University had been shut down when that bridge fell, killing 6 people. Victims in the collapse included an 18-year-old student, a father of 3, and a business owner. An investigation to determine what caused the bridge to fail is now underway. In the Florida Panhandle, prison guards say the bad guys are using drones to receive contraband in the courtyards. In fact, a package covered in grass clippings was recently dropped by drone at a prison in Northwest Florida. It's one of 2 confirmed drone drops at Florida prisons in the past month. Officials say drones pose a new problem for prisons nationwide. They're trying to stay ahead of this aerial technology. For more on this story and breaking news in the forecast, check out our new app. It's under WWSB or under My Suncoast. Last time you hear that for a while. Baseball's opening day is later this week, and that means the end of spring training here on the Suncoast. The Orioles say that even though attendance was down this year, they still welcome more than 100,000 fans to Ed Smith Stadium for the 8th time in 9 seasons. The Orioles had 6 sellouts this spring, and the team has now nearly hosted 1 million fans since the Orioles came back to Sarasota 9 seasons ago. And while the Orioles are playing an exhibition game with their AAA team in Norfolk, the Pirates still have 1 game left here on the Suncoast. It begins in about half an hour at Lecom Park in Bradenton. The Phillies are in town for a cross-state rivalry in Pennsylvania. The regular season begins on Thursday. And I think we only had 1 rain out in the entire spring for the Orioles.
That's pretty lucky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good you went to a lot of them.
About 4 or 5 ones. In fact, last Saturday night, a great game that had fireworks at the end.
Yeah, cool. And now the ticket prices go up on Thursday.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
We have some pretty nice weather for the game today, I think.
Good.
Yeah, we started off with a little bit of cloud cover around. Now taking a look on our on our webcam out at Lakewood Ranch, off toward Highlands County. You can see in the distance. Well, we started off with this kind of low-hanging cloud that's caused as the fog lifted, and that sort of has now given way to these cumulus clouds that are kind of rumbling in on the heels of a frontal boundary that's working its way southward. So what we will see, I think, is more of these types of clouds heading their way toward Gulf waters as we head into the afternoon. You can see all the cloudiness to the north of us on our high-resolution sats, and then out in Atlantic and Gulf waters as well. All of that is going to gradually drift a little bit further to the south. Now, a lot of it will dissipate because the front itself will start to dissipate, but still, we'll see an increase in cloud cover for the second half of the day. 78 degrees, the temperature in Sarasota, 76 degrees in Bradenton. And generally speaking, those are pretty representative temperatures across the region, although Punta Gorda has already broken the 80-degree mark, coming in now at 81. That's what I think our daytime high temperature will be, about 81 degrees by 3 p.m. Mix of sun and fair weather clouds, and then this evening, 70 degrees as we head into the midnight hour. Don't see much in the way of rainfall potential, though. We will later in the week, and we'll talk about that coming up in a bit.
All right, John, talk to you soon. New details now of an arrest where Sarasota police say a man punched and bit at least 1 officer. This cell phone video shows a Chad Washington under a patrol car as officers struggled to put him in handcuffs. Police believe he was on drugs when he punched and bit the officer. Washington's fiancée says she originally called EMS for a medical emergency, but police arrived instead. She says they used a taser on him when he resisted arrest.
How is somebody going to stop moving if it continuously tasing? And that hurts.
Police say this video does not show the entire incident and therefore does not tell the entire story. Washington was wanted on a felony warrant. On a lighter note, the Manatee Kennel Club is donating money to help the Manatee County Sheriff's Office get a new canine officer. The Kennel Club gave $13,500 for their newest canine named Ron. This is a 14-month-old Belgian Malinois who is set to start training next week.
He'll be a dual-purpose dog, which means both apprehension and then he'll locate explosives. It's probably going to take every bit of 6 months for that.
Canine Ron is the second canine the Kennel Club has given to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. And over the past 3 years, nearly 700 criminals have been caught thanks to the county's canine officers. Wow, that's some good work. An affordable housing project in Venice could get underway later on this year. The subsidized family housing component of the Venetian Walk complex will complete the replacement of the former Grove Terrace community. The development partner of the Venice Housing Authority is hoping to start construction around December and finish by next July. The project was approved for tax credit funding last year, but the Housing Authority had to wait until legal challenges were resolved. Hurricane season starts June 1st, and right now the Sarasota County officials are meeting with their counterparts in Charlotte County about access to their emergency shelters during evacuations. Charlotte County will also help train Sarasota County workers to help staff the shelters. During Irma last September, you might recall, there was a lack of shelters in the Venice area. Let's go back to Judy now. That stir fry is smelling so good, I might have to join you before the show ends.
I know, always the ginger, it just gets me. So I want to show you, we made that little sauce, melted down the sugar, cooled it down. I have cucumbers in there. If you have radishes, turnips, even carrots, you can slice them in the mandolin, and that will go into that pot. And that's all set. Now we've taken the tofu nice and brown, right? So let me show you. What I decided to use today was mung bean pasta, and it looks very similar to rice noodles. But the thing about mung beans, and you'll find that I left some information on the bottom of the recipe, which you'll get on our website. It's good not only as an antioxidant, but it's really good with people that are eating heart-healthy diets and to help you with your diabetes, because it works in your whole system to circulate your blood and to flush out those added sugars. So it's really popular, and to be honest, you really can't taste the difference in the noodles. A little more toasted sesame oil, and then I found some oyster sauce that is gluten-free. So we'll add that, and again, that's at the new Whole Foods, which is, you know, they have a really great variety of gluten-free items. Now I'll like the tofu, because see how brown it is? And again, you get that brown color from using the peanut oil, and we pressed it hard so we really didn't get stuck with too much moisture in it at all. So I just use a fork, trying not to scrape the bottom of the pan, but just to kind of spread the noodles out a little bit. And now I'm going to show you the enoki mushrooms. These are these delicate little mushrooms. Now they basically come as a live source. Sometimes you see that with lettuces. So I'm going to take that part that has the dirt part in it as well. I'm going to pull that off, and then we're going to just toss this in, okay? Then let's go ahead next, and we'll add the cucumbers, scallions, all that ginger. Oh, I love it. That's going to go together. Little jalapeno and the lentils and mung beans that are going to give you crunch if you put them on a salad. Same thing. So come back in just a few minutes. We are going to bring this healthy goodness to the plate so everybody can enjoy.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today, and named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart, and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Nice shots in here by Eric of the Flying Scott Midwinter Regatta races that are taking place starting today, actually. This was one of the trials that took place yesterday. Colorful sails on these boats. Bunch of sailors coming in, over 100, and there'll probably be 60 races or so this week. 60 boats involved in the races this week, so it should be a pretty exciting time. You'll see them out there on the bay. This Sarasota Bay sunset sent in by Sam, absolutely gorgeous shot there, and another sent in by Adar Pitts. Thank you very much for that photo. Nice shot there of sunset, and another one here in Venice. Darlene, thank you. That'll be, I think, a shot kind of similar to what we might experience tonight with our sunset. A little bit more cloudiness around because of an approaching frontal boundary kind of kicking up those clouds and them rolling back in this direction. 63-degree dew point now will be lowering over the next 24 hours, I think. That dew point value, a measure of how much moisture there is in the atmosphere, how much humidity. And as we head into the afternoon, you'll see that dew point lower. 78 degrees right now, our air temperature. And across the region, temperatures generally running about that across most everywhere. 77 Wauchula, Arcadia, Mayaca. Then you've got 77 in Venice, 74 Longboat Key, a little cooler there, but 76 Bradenton Parish, Lakewood Ranch, 78 Sarasota. So you get the picture. We'll probably top it out at about 81 by 3 p.m. Kind of a sun cloud mix as we head into the evening, and then during the overnight, temperatures generally hovering in the mid-60s, I think, tonight. And if that drier air gets here in time, and I think it will, we probably won't have as much of a fog problem tomorrow morning as we had this morning, which it was dense in some locations. Patchy, but dense in some of those locations. So the frontal boundary kicking up an easterly wind flow, the easterly wind flow coming in off Atlantic waters, catching a little bit of moisture and producing these rain showers that you see along the coast. I don't think we'll have much of a problem with that here locally. As I mentioned, it should be pretty quiet as we head into the afternoon. The frontal boundary itself, caused by a big ridge of high pressure in the northeast, pushing downward and pushing that frontal boundary back in the opposite direction that it would normally travel. It kind of falls apart as it comes through, but it does shift our winds around and draw down some slightly drier air for a few days. So that'll be kind of nice, I think. Warm this entire week, though, so this front is not going to be a cold front. More of a dry cold front, I guess you could say, so dry air moving in. And then we'll wait for the weekend when we might have another shower coming our way in the form of another cold front. That'll probably be due here on Friday. Northeast wind surges a little in the afternoon, coming in at about 15 knots. And the forecast looks like this. 81 for today's daytime high. Tomorrow, about the same. Wednesday, maybe that little bit of drier air causing the temperatures to drop just a little bit. Maybe the nighttime temperature just a little bit cooler when you wake up on Wednesday. So our daytime high tops out at 78. We rebound pretty quickly, though, into the 80s. And on Friday, that chance of a rain shower, which extends into Saturday, kind of dries out pretty quickly, though, and we're left with a nice day on Sunday. And at Ray's request, we've added the Easter Bunny on Sunday, right?
You take requests. Thank you, John Scalzi. On to consumer news now. The average price of regular gas shot up 7 cents a gallon over the past 2 weeks, and industry analysts say that number could go even higher. The national average now stands around $2.66, and that's more than the average price for gas right now in Sarasota. The Gas Buddy app tells us that Sarasota's average price is $2.49. Officials say the reason for the increase is rising crude oil prices. After complaints from President Trump, South Korea has agreed to further open its auto market to the U.S. This comes as the two countries reached an agreement on amending their 6-year-old free trade agreement. South Korea's trade minister said the U.S. will lift tariffs on South Korean-made pickup trucks in 2041, not 2021. It'll also be able to export 25,000 additional American vehicles to South Korea. Gun maker Remington is now filing for bankruptcy. The filing will allow Remington to stay in business while restructuring its $700 million debt. Remington plans to keep on making guns, and the company says operations will not be disrupted by the restructuring process. Trivia here, the gun industry as a whole has suffered plunging sales and profits during the Trump administration. The Federal Trade Commission is taking aim at social media giant Facebook. The agency announced it is looking into the company's privacy practices. Facebook is facing questions after reports that data from 50 million users landed in the hands of a political consulting firm without the user's consent. Meantime, founder Mark Zuckerberg took out a full-page ad in several British and American papers Sunday to apologize and said he promised to do better. Still ahead in your Suncoast News, we'll tell you why this cruise ship is cutting in half to make it bigger. We'll explain.
Come experience the rugged capability and luxurious comfort of a new Ram truck and get big savings during Ram Truck Month at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Ram trucks. Get the all-new redesigned 2018 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $23,999. Or save big and get $10,000 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us fly! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now. Okay,
Cooking up a
John.
vegetarian meal here today, right?
Definitely. You said you like firm tofu.
I do.
So a little
That's
crispy.
the only one. I don't
There
like
you
the
go.
soft stuff.
Neither do. Well, I don't like either because I feel like I have a pillow stuck in my throat. But you crisp it up, and I think it really comes together better.
It just soaks up whatever marinade you're cooking it in or whatever.
Exactly. And we have a
Good.
simple marinade with
That's
soy
delicious.
sauce, rice wine vinegar, a little oyster sauce, gluten-free for Ray. I'm pretty excited about that. And that's mung bean pasta.
I love mung bean pasta.
Very, very healthy for you and light. Now, you can get this recipe on mysuncoast.com. Just click on the dining section and recipes, and you will get everything you need, including our contest. Remember, you could win a $50 gift card to one of our local restaurants.
Mung beans, good thing for your hurricane supply kit. They never
There you go.
Never go bad.
I like that,
Right?
John.
There you go, Ray.
He's always thinking, folks. All right, entertainment news now. Black Panther is no longer the top movie at the box office, but it still sets some serious records. ABC's Christopher Watson has today's Showbiz Wrap.
Pacific Rim Uprising finally bumped Black Panther out of the box office top spot, debuting with $28 million. But Black Panther's still setting records. It's now the highest grossing superhero film of all time and the 5th highest grossing movie domestically, period. All in just 6 weeks. Jennifer Hudson with a powerful performance of The Times They Are Changing at the March for Our Lives in Washington, D.C. Saturday. The singer lost her mother, brother, and nephew to gun violence 10 years ago. Common, Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, Andra Day, Demi Lovato, and Lin-Manuel Miranda also performed.
Who is this? My name's Cable. I'm here for the kid.
If there's still to be an animated Deadpool series, it won't be on FXX and it won't involve Donald Glover. Both have dropped the project, apparently citing creative differences. And actress Keira Knightley's 33 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Amazing video here. Silver Sea Cruise Company is using a very unconventional method to make one of its vessels bigger. Hundreds of workers recently split the luxury Silver Spirit in half. Why? Well, they're inserting a pre-built 50-foot extension to the middle of the vessel. Once the addition is put in place, crews will reconnect the ship's 3 parts to make it seaworthy again. Silver Sea says the new addition will allow for more decks, more suites. If all goes well, the ship will resume service in May. Do you
Seems
try?
like a lot of work for 50 feet.
I'm a little nervous about that, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah, welds are stronger than the original metal, so.
Oh, well, we'll go by John. If John will go on the cruise, we'll go on the cruise.
But it seems like a lot of work for 50 feet.
Have a great afternoon, folks. We'll see you tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. Our next news starts at 5.